It's coming. Things that I've been praying for. Hey, 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 Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Oh, thank you, baby. I'm in the process. Look, I look a little bald by the eyes right now. I'm in the process of growing my eyelashes out, okay? I just put some serum on them right now, girl. Thank you, mama. I know you absolutely are beautiful. How you doing, my love? Where are you from? Let me know what's going on. How you vibing? Hey, Brandon Marine. How you doing, my love? Where you from, girl? I don't think I seen you on here before. Who is this? Princess Love Roses Fire? I don't think I've seen you on here before, mama. Where you from? Hey, Nevaeh. Oh, I love that name. I named my friend's daughter that. Nevaeh, I love that name. Hey, baby, how you doing? What's this? Wave Slider 5. Hey, baby. Clipper King 685. Hey, how you guys doing? How y'all vibrating? What y'all got going on? I said I was gonna get on and just see what you guys got going on. I don't think I got something I can teach. I always can teach something, but I said I was gonna get on here and hang out. Is you spiritual? You know I am. You know I am. That's why I'm on here now. What you got going on? What's going on with you? That's what I'm trying to see. Who is this? Clipper King? I need to talk with you. But talk with me. I must be here just for you. I don't believe in coincidences. Like I said, I was sitting here minding all of my business. And Spirit told me to turn this camera on because I didn't plan on teaching today. So what you got, baby? What's going on? I'm sitting here looking at my pictures of myself from when I was in prison. It is just crazy. Okay, so me and my girlfriend broke up, and you know what tarot cards is. Yes, I know what tarot cards are. Do I use them? No, but I know what they are. I have one deck. I won't lie, I have one deck, but stopped in like this stream and shared some positivity in the chat. Going live takes courage and consistency. I'm streaming to at the moment. Salute to the creator and the people showing up. Where you streaming at so I can get on your jump on your stream? And yeah, so like I said, yeah, I know what tarot cards are. Like I said, I don't do tarot readings, right? I am spiritual, absolutely. I work with spirit one-on-one, but I guess I'm just learning these new things too, but I guess I'm not into tarot cards though. I have one deck. Like I said, I have one deck, but is there like evilness in those tarot cards, or like they just predict? Well, see, and this is the thing about, okay, so let's talk about it right quick. The whole thing about spirituality is there's going to be darkness and light. And so this is why for me personally, like I just said, when it comes to spirit, the realm of spirit, I tread really lightly, right? And so if a person is not covered, it depends on the person, because if the person is not covered, right, if they're not operating out of the right spiritual energies, then there absolutely can be evil in it. And so you want to be very careful and cautious when it comes to, certain types of things like that you entertain. How'd you do the ceiling? Listen, this ceiling took me about 4 days, okay? It's the polyfill that comes in that big old bag. So it's just the polyfill up there, and then I have the the what's the names in there, the lights. See the lights in there? Oh, you probably can't see that, but well, I can't show you right now. You gotta wait till it's dark. But yeah, and then the LED lights and stuff up there. But and then I used what glue did I use? Because I had tried several glues. And so since it's my house, I just did it straight to the ceiling. Because one process that I tried first was to glue that stuff to that to glue it to the construction paper and stick it up, and it was just too heavy. So I went directly on the ceiling, and I used spray adhesive. I think like Gorilla Glue spray adhesive, and just sprayed I put the LED lights up first and then stuck that cotton up there. That stuff took me about probably like 4 days or so. It took me a minute because I did it by myself. Well, I did the whole room by myself. So it took me a minute to do that though. And see, and that's the other thing, you got to understand, the devil know how to make himself look like Jesus here. Ain't it the light here? The dark knows how to look like the light, right? And so again, when it comes to spirituality, you have to be very, very, very careful. Very, very, very careful. And I know for me, like when I first started, when my journey started, people would call me evil and witchy and all this stuff here. And listen, it don't take me but a second here to reach over. You see what I'm saying? And bust my Bibles out here and all stuff like this here, because the thing about my journey is my journey began with God. Everything that I know when it comes to spirit, God showed me here one-on-one. I've had no moderator, no intercessor, and it's been the most beautiful experience of my life. So again, you have to be careful when it comes to the spirituality. Okay, Arizona, girl. I ain't never been to Arizona. What's the weather like up there right now? That's good. Keep waiting. I'm gonna have to go. Let me see if I can read these comments on my other phone, because I don't want to keep having to reach up like this here. This one is If anybody has anything specific you want to talk about, I am absolutely open, so we can get into that as well. Like I said, Spirit told me to get on here and cut the camera on, and so I know when I'm led to do that, I'm just here for absolutely you. Okay, now I can read the comments over here, and then let me see what we're doing here. I'm just here for absolutely Okay, let's go. Keep working the blast with me. You're a great person. Oh, thank you, baby. You're great too, princess girl. My girlfriend used to try and get me to play them with her, and man, I felt some type of weird energy. Like, what is this and what are they for? And well, the fact that, so that's, let's just talk about the fact that you have discernment, because the fact that you were able to even feel that energy, right, and identify it as something as not of the light. And whenever you come into those spaces, right, so this is the other thing, right, whenever you come into these spaces or these types of energies, and not just even in these certain situations, you have to understand from the moment that you go out into this distraction, right, this thing that they call the world out here, you are automatically submitted to energies coming from everywhere. I was just talking about this on my subscribers thing this morning here, my live this morning here. You got to be careful. You absolutely have to be careful. This is why, oh God, I can't, well, you have to go and watch that video over there. But yes, you have to be careful. So the fact that you have discernment, whenever you come across one of these energies, whether it is deriving right in front of you, whether it is somebody else trying to project it onto you, you kindly do not have to accept it. You reject it and send it back to sender. You don't just accept energies, and absolutely not. And when you feel it, you know it. Don't question it. You remove yourself, and spirit will give you the revelations later. And when I speak of spirit, I'm talking about the light. Okay? So, kudos to you. I'm absolutely so happy that you have that discernment. But you know what? I'm not surprised here. Right? This is absolutely the season for it. I was raised in Christianity, but I feel like I'm drifting after my ex, after what my ex said to me. God bless, God loves you. Okay, so you feel like you're drifting what, away from Christianity because of what someone else said to you? If you choose to drift away from something, let it be because of your personal choice. You know, I used to be religious. I used to be Christian. I don't consider myself religious now. I consider myself spiritual at this point in my life. And like I said, through the journey that God has taken me through here. But you know, I don't judge. I believe that, well, you know me, I don't care what you believe in here. God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah. That is not my ministry there. I'm here to be the light that you need when you find yourself in a place of darkness. So again, God, spirit talks to everybody differently. So we are not going to receive and see things all in the same fashion, right? We're all sitting in the same world, but our perception is absolutely different. You don't see what I see right now. We're looking at the same world, right? But we don't see the same things. And so again, when it comes to those types of decisions, make sure that again you're moving out of your own energy and not allowing yourself to be manipulated by someone else's. That's the problem with that's what's the problem with the world here now. With you now here, you don't know who you are because you've been manipulated thus far for so long here, conditioned by the world and the people and all these things here, right? So absolutely, you have to be mindful of this, my love. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. We are so beautiful. Hi, my darling. Really, when I see you, all my stress is gone. I really love your energy. Oh, thank you, my love. Well, again, we are energy. And when you come into a place of energy, you can absolutely feel it. But this is a part of what? Your spiritual senses and that sixth sense that I keep trying to get you to tap more into, because that is your real direction. That is where your truth comes from. That is where you should be deriving all your energy, direction, and instruction and guidance from here. Hey, Amaya. So who is this? Lemon. Hey, baby. Chan. Oh, Girl, I don't want to mess your name up, sir. I don't want to mess your name up. Hey, my love, I see you. Cola. I'm going to just say Cola. Who is this? Murder Princesses Films. Ladies, if you go to church with the man and do deceitful things before going there, don't bring that energy in Good Temple, just in general. I think whatever space that you go into, it doesn't matter where you go into, you should always go in as your best self. You know, you don't carry outside energies with you from one place to another. Whenever you go into one place, you should be going into that energy, nothing else. You should not be bringing any outside energy with you anywhere in your life. And that's the problem. That's the biggest thing of life right now. We are energy, and energy can only be what? Transferred, right? And so you go through life because you go through your day picking up all this energy. Like I said, energy is being dispersed all day long. And where you picking it up from and what you're allowing to be attached to you, you absolutely not conscious of, especially if you operating out of the system and you've not awakened in all these things here. Oh God, it's energy everywhere. And so you walking around from day to day, from place to place, from person to person, and all that is being exchanged is energy, whether it's negative or positive. And not only from you, but from everybody in that place. From everybody in that space here. Not to only think about, you already operating under the collective energy, and the majority of the collective energy at this point, unfortunately, is operating out of the darkness here. So again, there are entities literally on you, hovering your space, entering your space, going in and out of your dwelling all day long, all day long, all day long. Ooh, ooh, it just makes me, ooh, that's like, I don't be out there like that, you know. People are strange. Well, and it's not even, I don't even at this point, I don't even consider it people being strange. It's just the unknowing. I mean, at this point, you walking in the land of the living dead. You talk about stranger things. That is stranger things. The zombies, they out there now. The sleeper, it's happening now. These are not stories. Okay, the allegories, right? These are riddles that you need to be able to decipher here. No, no, no. Me too. I've been working on my throat, exercising, so AI won't take my job. Wait, what? Oh my God, it's horrible. This is horrible. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Next thing you know, you're gonna look up everything gonna be AI. It's horrible. It will. But this was part of the plan here, right? So again, this is why you need to wake up and get into your get into your bag. I keep telling you. See, because this is the other thing, right? You so concerned with the world and what's going on in the world and trying to conform to the world. We weren't made to conform. You was made to transform the world. The world was not created to make you. You were made to create your own world. Every man walking this earth, every person walking this earth, your sole purpose on this earth is to rise to the level of consciousness of remembering what you were created to do and bring your heaven down to earth. Why does it say what is done on earth as it is in heaven? People are so concerned at, oh God, let me calm down. See, I get excited. I get excited here. So again, all day long, to me, is just when I look out, right? When I look out, I just see loss and it's like ants. You know how you see ants and they're like on food and that's what it looks like to me. It's just, instead of people saying they don't know and taking the time to attain the knowledge that they need, right, to rise in consciousness, again, you rather pretend and idolize and be someone else you're not and do the things and why you got, it's a whole Oh God, it's a whole giant in you. You a whole creation. It's a whole world in you. You a whole universe right now. You a being on your own and don't even know it because you so wrapped up in. Oh well, see. Uh, do I read the Old Testament? What is this up here? Well, you know, I go between because I was just in the NIV here the other day because God just said, listen, I have had the most experience here this week. God just took me here to the Moses and the burning bush, right? And had me go and read the Corinthians and all this here, right? And then they actually have a movie on Netflix about it. But the thing about it is, I have my own personal story. Oh God, my own little like Moses and the burning bush moment here. And so what I have been going through this week is literally God taking me from place to place, like from, I'm just, man, to be one, right? To be one within. Oh God, to be one with spirit. I am without nothing. I don't need nothing. I don't want nothing. I don't desire nothing. And I understand that if it is something that I want or something that is outside of me, the answer and where the only place to get it from is on the inside. Oh, listen. Oh, so anyway, I'm on high right now. I'm sitting up so high here, I can't even. I was just thinking the other day, I feel like at any moment, I'm just gonna start levitating in this place because my God. So my favorite color is, it used to be blue, now it is yellow, but right now, the colors that I know that I'm operating up under are green and purple. So I'm trying to tune into green and purple. But yellow is my favorite color. Yeah, AI is hard to recognize now. Yeah, I'm not into AI. So again, I'm not into it. I'm not into a lot of things. I live in my own world. I live in the world, but I'm not of it. I don't be on anything that anybody else got going on. So, but it's a lot. I'm like, but it's a lot though. And so again, it's it's time to tap in. It's time to plug in here. Silent stop motion. I love you. I love you more. Jesus love you. Jesus loves us all, baby. I was told God is a woman. Well, you know, God is what God is to you. At the end of the day, God is in you. God is not in the sky. So, hey, whatever it is to you, I believe God is, all in nothing, all at the same time, right? All encompassing, omnipresent. So it could be whatever you want, baby. Whatever you want. Why you break up with Keandre? Why y'all break up with Keandre? Who is Keandre? Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, for prayer at petition with thanksgiving present and requested to God, and the God's source will transcend all. I'm telling you. I was the transcending. You talk about transcending, child, flying. I mean, I can't even begin to put into work. Well, and that's the thing. So I've been writing everything down like in real time. But I've also been writing down my whole journey since the day that my awakening started in like real time. So I have all my receipts and like from the time, I went into covenants and all these things here, and promises were made, and now I'm walking into the promises. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm in a whirlwind right now, and in a whirlwind. You definitely like everyone else. Billions of people lived on earth. You ain't that special. Ugh. I'm sorry that you feel that way about yourself, but I want you to know that you absolutely are one in a billion. You don't have to blend into the billions, right? So again, your life is what it is to you. It's your life. The thing about life is you was born by yourself, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to die by yourself. So I just say live it to whatever feels good to you, live it. I'm not here to convince you or to make you feel or to make you believe. Again, that's not what I'm here for. So, you know, I don't know. Showing appreciation that simple way, like, comment, and respect. Anyone who goes live knows what it costs. I'm live right now as well. So this one resonated. Where in the Old Testament makes reference to the New Testament? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. I'm not a I'm not I don't I'm not I don't know it like that. So I don't know that one, baby. Where are you live at right now? Who is this saying they're live? Where are you live at? And what do you do? What do you do on your lives or what? Like, how often do you go live? Are you like a content creator? What's your thing? Oh, well. Can't do that one. You have to be live from your bed by yourself. we won't be there. Sorry. Ultimate makes how can I reach you? Who is this? Death from above. How could you reach me? What would you be reaching me for? So, like I said, I was sitting here looking, before I got on here, I was sitting here minding my business. And I was sitting here looking at some of my pictures from when I was in prison. So let me show y'all my little prison pics. I remember, so first of all, I remember when I first went to jail, right? I had never been in jail before, okay? And so when I first went to jail or whatever, like, I'm not gonna say like I wasn't taking it seriously, but like, I guess, like, it really wasn't phasing me, I guess. But you also have to remember that my mom was in jail with me. And so I think that absolutely had something to do with it, because I think had I had been there by myself, I would have lucky. Hey, my love, where you been? So like I was saying, I think had I had gone to jail by myself and not have had my mom there with me, it would have hit way harder than it did. And so, the crazy thing about my situation also was me and my mom were bunkies. We were cellmates. Like, we were in the same thing, and we weren't even in the same thing. Like, so the way that, yeah, I got 10 years in prison. I got 10 years feds. I got sentenced to 10 years in the feds when I was 21. So, like, the way the jail was set up, right, it was one side and the wall, and it was like all bottom bunks and then all top bunks, and they were all connected. And so I think it was like even number of bunk, like they went like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But anyway, me and my mom were right here. I was pregnant, and mind you, I was 7 months pregnant also when I had went to jail. Now, mind you, I had never been to jail in my life for anything, right? Ever. But also, I started, I was started being in the streets selling, and street pharmaceutical, and when I was 11 years old. And so, by the time I was 21, we were well known. My mom and my dad were both not only dealers, but also abusers, right? My brother, my older brother, ended up also distributing and abusing as well. And so, shoot, by the time I had went to prison or whatever, I knew prison very well because my mom stayed in prison. I would have to go and see her all the time. So I knew about the system and rehab and all the things. But yeah, I think my mom being there with me absolutely softened the blow, you know. Yeah, my first charge, I got 10 years. Well, because it was federal. That's what I'm trying. It was federal. And not only that, um, what I finna say? What's I finna say? Well, like I said, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it was federal, and so it was my first offense, and I got 10 years. It should have been more than that because I had 3 charges and 2 got dropped, and I only got left with 1. So, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. So like, if my mama had went with me, it probably would have been a little worse for me. But see, before I actually went to jail, they let me out on what you call it, on pre-trial. I think it was called, no, not pre-trial, some kind of bond, because I had never been in trouble before. And so I ended up doing that and ended up going on the run. Went on the run. They had a $10,000 reward out for me. Oh God, I have to tell y'all the story of how I got how I went to jail. But it was crazy. And so I ended up I did 4 years in, and then I got 6 years. Wait, because I went in 19. Wait, when did I go to jail? I went to, you know what? Now it makes sense to me. I just had a lapse in memory. So I did 4 years in. I think I got 6 on paper. Yeah, something like that. It was something around those lines. Something like that. But yeah, I went to prison. Like I said, when I went to prison, I was 7 months pregnant. Okay, so I was 7 months pregnant, and then I had 2 kids. And so I had my daughter was 4. My daughter was 4. No, my daughter was 3, and my son was 1 when I got locked up. And I was 7 months pregnant because all my kids are 2 years apart. And so, mind you, oh shoot, when I got locked up, I was living with my great grandmother. Literally, I got her picture right here. This is her right here. She was 101 when she died. I can't make, oh, I don't got the folder. Yes, I do. Man, this is crazy. Because I was sitting here earlier and I was doing something. Oh, God. Now I'm just going all over the place here. I'm going to tell y'all my whole business. So, like I said, when I had got locked up, my grandma, so listen, my great-grandma raised me, okay? She was born 1908, okay? Let me just say that first. She was born 1908. I was born 1981. So, that means by the time I was even born, are you listening to me? She was already well in her, I don't even know what, God. Okay? So my mom, like I said, my mom and my dad were both addicts. Okay? And so they were in the streets. My mom was, my dad, they were in the streets. Okay? They were in the streets. Okay? So, well, I had to get out there and do what I had to do. And so one day my mom had ended up going to jail. We had just got raided. Mind you, we got raided every other day, okay? If not every day. The police kick that door in on a daily basis, okay? And mind you, this is my great-grandmother's house because my mom had lost everything. So we lived with my great-grandmother here. So like I said, this particular day, they raided and ended up taking my mom to jail. And so I'll never forget, I was 11 years old, and that knock on the door, I'm not going to say the man's name, but I remember like it was yesterday. He was an addict, and he had his baby. He always had his baby with him in that stroller. Okay. And he knocked on that door, and I said, "What you want?" And he told me what he wanted, and I went right in that room. That's why we ended up going to the feds here, because every time they came, they could never find nothing, God. I don't know why the Lord did it like this, but they never couldn't find nothing here. And so they finally got sick of us and turned us over to the feds here. And well, you know how that goes. The federales, they watch you for years and years and years. That way, when they knock on your door and pick you up, they know you going to jail. Okay, it ain't no if, ands, buts about it here. Okay, and so, well, that day I became a dealer. And so 11 years old, it started when I was 11 years old. And so, like I said, when I went to prison, I was at my grandma's house. So it was my grandma. Oh my God, this is crazy because I just went through this stuff today. It was my grandma. Watch this here. And my sister. This is my sister, my little sister here. Okay? She literally just died 2 years ago to breast cancer. I got a tattoo right here. If anybody should have died, it should have been me. It never should have been her, God. I don't even want, that's a whole nother story for another day. But anyway, these were the only two people left at that house when I went to prison. It was my grandma and my little sister. My grandma was, she was born 1908. I went to prison in 2002. So you do the math, because that's how old she was, okay? And then my sister, this is my little sister, so she was only, what? Because I was 21. It's 19, 20. So that means my sister was 17 or 18 years old when I went to prison. And we left them behind in this house that we had just created. Well, not just created, but had now then turned into a trap. I mean, because that's what it was. That had been a trap for a year, 10 years here? All these years here and all these things like this. And so, long story short, I ended up, well, me and my mom, we ended up going to the federal prison here. My mom got 17 years. I got 10. My mom got 17. This was like her 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th offense. So she had to do 11, 12 of them years. So mind you, my mom was already what? I don't even know how old right now. And so anyway, when I went to prison and got locked up or whatever, like I said, listen, I was 7 months pregnant. I had these 2 babies and these 2 people depending on me. I could not go to jail. And so when the people let me out, well, what did I do? I went right back out, got my sack here, and kept on doing what I knew how to do, because I had to figure out what my next move was. And me trying to figure out my next move led me to needing more time than what the people had allotted me to turn myself in. And the next thing you know, I'm now on the run. People calling me, telling me it's posters up for me for $10,000 rewards here and stuff like this here, like I have committed a real crime, because in my mind, I hadn't committed no crime. I didn't do nothing but pick up the family business, because that's what my life was. I didn't know no better. What I was supposed to do here? I did what the people taught me to do, what everybody else was doing around me and all this here. And so, yeah, well, there you go. And it landed me 10 years in the prison here. And well, listen, it was horrible. I mean, it was, hey, it was horrible. By the time you knew it, my grandmother was found in the house, no lights, no food, no power here, God. I mean, it's the most, I mean, it's just, when I even begin to, oh God, it's just, yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. I have been through a lot. But anyway, that prison was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I had the best time. If I had not have gone, I don't know where I would be, honey. So listen, I was a baby in prison and had my baby in prison. And so, like, by the time I came home with my baby, she was almost 4. My other 2 were, well, what's that, 7 and 5. So yeah, it was a heck of an experience. But like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world had I not have gone it. I don't know where I'd be today because I was so wrapped up in the streets. I mean, I was living that life, right? And then, well, I wasn't living that life. That life was living me. Okay, so I want living at the fuck off. And so again, I'm thankful for every day that I had in the prisons of the systems. Now, the thing about it, like I was trying to say earlier, is listen, I didn't have no understanding when I got to prison, okay? And you also have to understand, like I've been used to being on my own since I was 11 years old and things like that. So, I was used to being my own ruler, my own authority, and I still don't take rules well, but I don't operate under the system anymore. But anyway, um so yeah, so when I got to like jail or whatever, I was like making my own clothes. I was cutting clothes up. I stayed in trouble, child. I was cutting clothes up, like making like designer clothes. Oh my god, I'm just thinking about this. It's hilarious. Making like little designer clothes and stuff. I remember one outfit I had made, it had like, I had cut holes down the side and like made like little crisscrosses with, you have to be creative. And so you cut your little sheets and stuff up here. And then another thing I would do is like when we would get, every now and then you would get a colored towel, and it was so rare. But whenever I would get like a colored towel, I'd pull them fabrics up out them towels and like have them braided into my hair for like highlights, you know what I mean? And things like this. Making hooch. I mean, listen, whatever you could think of, I did it. I got in there and did everything. I like, it was like, I thought I was at a slumber party here. Broke all them people rules. And I stayed in lockdown here. I stayed in lockdown. And finally, I got kicked out of a jail and they sent me somewhere else here. And well, like I said, I learned a lot about myself. I've always been strong. I've always been resilient. I've always independent. I've always been this way. Um, I've always been in tough situations. I mean, my life has, well, I mean, again, I could tell you story after story, right? And so I say all that to say, to understand that all of that was on purpose, to understand that everything that I went through was absolutely specifically designed for me to mold me and shape me into who I am today. Ah, God, I do it all over again. I do it all over again. No questions asked. So yeah, see, so 70, see, my grandma was old. I'm in a girl group, and can you shout us out, please? The 3 idols in the name of the group. Oh, I don't know. I missed that. You're gonna have to run that back, baby. I don't know. I'm sorry. Tell me that again. Who is this? Dorian Carway. I finally caught you live. You finally, yes, who is it? And I'm so glad you're here. What? I don't approach black women because black don't want to get shot. I need one white. I don't understand, baby, what you're talking about, love. But so like I was saying though, it was, prison was one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And it's crazy because when we do get to know each other more, and you'll probably hear me say that a lot of times about the most tragic and traumatic stories, things that I've been through, because I now have the understandings of these things, like I said. So I love my life, all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, so I was too busy in the streets. I couldn't worry about school. Girl, then people would drop me off at school and I was out of there about 30 minutes later. I didn't stay number long enough to get checked in for the day, if I even could do that. And by the time I knew it, by the time I got to like the 10th, I don't think I made it to the 10th grade. it was over for me. That school was done. I did not attend school anymore. And so I finished. I got my little GED when I did go to prison. That's one thing that I did do. And it's funny because, like I said, I just pulled this box out today and all this stuff was in here, like my little GED and all this little stuff. So that's one picture of me in prison when I got my GED. Now, also when I first went to prison, the person that I had left my children with was unable for whatever reason to hold up her responsibility to taking care of my kids. And so I had to move my kids several times. And one of the other things that I had to endure was CPS, that's what it's called in Texas, Child Protective Services, came to the jail. They were going to take my children. And I was reported to Child Protective Services by the San Antonio Police Department. The police called them on me. And so the accusations were that I was, street pharmacist, which I was. And that I always had my children, which I did, because who else was going to have them? My grandma couldn't take care of them. My sister was in school. It wasn't her responsibility. Who else was going to take care of them? I absolutely had my children all the time. And that they were outside at all types of the nights and stuff and things like this. And again, they absolutely were, because my kids were always with me. And so I remember getting that visit, and I remember having the visit thinking to myself who it could possibly be, because I knew my grandma couldn't get there. You know, she was. And so, you know, I knew my sister couldn't get there, and it was the Child Protective Services. And so, like I said, they told me the charges, the accusations, I don't know what it's called at the moment, against me, and I owned up to them. I told her it was a female, and I told her I absolutely did, and I also explained to her again that my children were my responsibility and that I had no other options. I did not have them out. They weren't like out playing out in the yard 3 o'clock in the morning and things like this here. You know what I mean? But there absolutely would be a time that one of them woke up or something in the middle of the night and they might have been out there, things like this. But at the end of the day, my kids were my responsibility. And so they absolutely were where I was. But also, at the same time, my kids were very well taken care of. There were no signs of abuse, malnourishment, neglect, or anything of the sorts. So if anything, I took care of them at that point more than I took care of myself. And that was a life lesson that I had to learn. That's one of the things that my great-grandmother did instill in me. I remember having my kids walking around looking like $1,000,000. You know, that was back in the days in the hood. You already know how it goes. Daughter dripped out, you know, all these things here. And I'm walking around looking like Winnie Foo Foo. And I remember my grandma pulled me up to the side one day and she says, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep not taking care of her. I mean, not taking care of you, because you taking care of her and not taking care of you first will never last. There's no longevity in that. You're doing her a disservice. And so that was the day that was instilled in me, that I absolutely had to take care of myself before I could take care of anyone. I lost it along the way many a times, but I did know it at one time in my life. And so I told her that, you know, I did do all those things. And she looked at me and she said, you know, I could take your children from you. And I said, you know, I'm very aware of that. But again, I'm here, you know, and I'm a realist. I've always been a realist. My dad was a realist. You know, it is how it is. You you did it, you own up to it. There's no reason to, and that's one thing, that my dad instilled in me here. You do it, it's yours. You own it here. And this is my dad, and he passed away January the 1st, New Year's Day. Of course he would. And it's classic my dad. And so actually I just had a little visit from him today. And so he's been in my space here these past few days. And so, you did teach me something, Dad. Should always say you didn't teach me nothing. You taught me a few things here. And so that's what I got from him. And so, she's like, well, I could take kids. And I, well, again, I'm aware of that. But what else would you have me to do in this situation? I'm not about to sit here and lie to you about something that you know, because the people knew. I mean, so and so she looked at me and she said, for the simple fact that you sat here in front of me and told your truth and nothing but your truth, how could I take your children from you? And I kept my kids. My kids were never removed from me, despite the things that they had to go through on the outside of the system, because just because my kids weren't taken don't mean they didn't have to endure traumas and things and situations. And so I had to move my kids several times because, again, the people that were supposed to be their providers were unable to provide. And the thing about me was, the reason I didn't have no understanding of that is because you have to understand, when I got locked up, I was 21 years old. But you also have to understand that I had been on my own since I was 11 years old. I emancipated when I was 15. I got my first apartment when I was 17. Prior to that, I was already used to handling all the things of the household and paying bills and errands and all these things here. My grandmother was in her 80s. She couldn't do nothing. I was doing all the things. I'm going to the school, signing paperwork for my sister and homework, checking homework and all these things here. I'm going to mind you, this started at 11 years old. But the other thing that I came with was a beautiful heart, a beautiful soul. I've always had it. I've always had the I've always been an empath, right? I've always been spiritual, and it's always placed me in a position to be very vulnerable. And so, in that vulnerability, that led me to a lifetime of just allowing people to just take advantage of me over and over and over again, situation after situation after situation after situation. It also put me into a position where no was not a word that I said. And if you needed something, I gave it, whether I had it or not. And if I didn't, I'd find a way to get it. And so, there was always a lot of people in my space. I've always taken care of a lot of people. I've always had responsibility way bigger and greater than I could ever be. And no matter what, I always got through it and handled it in a way that, well, never made sense. Until, well, I got into my awakening here. And again, spirit, I got all the revelations and things like this here, right? But anyway. So I really had no understanding. It was really hard for me to understand after so many years and so many times, right? That I've not only gone out of my way, but protected you, fed you, made sure that you had. Make sure that your kids had. And now my kids need, and there was absence, there was dead silence. And then when someone was present, they weren't being held up in the regard that I held you. I didn't understand that. And so it got to a point where when I did get to the federal system here, you get what I think it was like 11 cents an hour or something like that, because you have to work. Right? And so you get paid. And so the monies that I did get, I'm sending home to my children. What, $30? 20? I don't even remember how much it was then, but it didn't matter to me because I just knew that at all times I had to do something. I had to continue to do something. And so here it is again. My kids are being passed around from person to person to person. At this point now, they are end up with a person I don't even know. I've never met this woman in my life, God. The last contact I had with one of my children was when I gave birth to that baby, handcuffed to that damn bed, because that's what they do in there. I had the baby in the prison here. Well, in the hospital, but I'm in prison here. And so you handcuffed and shackled to the beds and all these things here. They didn't let me have her. They sent her. Oh, God. I had, one day with her? That's the last time I had contact with in the physical with my children, because mind you, I hadn't seen them, child. Hadn't seen the kids because they're being going from place to place to place, because again the covering that I thought that I had placed them under wasn't sufficient. So that means these people that I've known all my life, every time that I've really needed somebody to show up for me, I've not had that. Spirit has been the only thing. God has been the only thing that I can say has been a constant in my life, a consistent in my life. And it took me 40 years. Literally in the wilderness. I just told you here. God took me to this story of Moses and the burning bush, and now I understand why. Because when I answered the phone, when I answered the call, I was 39 years old, about to turn 40. 40 years in the wilderness I had to go through to get to where I am now. And it looks like, and it involved things of this nature. The prison, right? And the domestic violence and the essayed and being awed and all these things here. The house set on fire and all the things that I've had to endure. It's part of the plan. It was a part of it. And had I not gone through it, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be able to sit here as strong as I am today. And no matter how hard that wind blow, I'm able to withstand. Right? So I had, oh God, so before I went to prison, like I said, my kids kept getting moved around, and I remember, oh God, see, look, it's coming. Oh yeah, I love this. Okay, wait, I just had a little download. But listen, so like when I first got in jail, right, like I hadn't seen my kids, and like the person I had left them with, the phone tag got cut off. I'm calling, ain't nobody, and I mean, I can't get through. I'm like, what is going on? I can't, oh God. My grandmother, I don't know what's going on with her and my sister. You know, I found out my brother had got locked back up. I mean, it's just a mess at this point. Well, that's what happens though, right? When the world crumbles, it all falls. And so I remember sitting on that bed, and I'm in lockdown. I told you I stayed in lockdown here because I just, again, I was in jail and I was in the feds. Like, I'm like, what? Where else can I go? I remember thinking that's, well, this is the top, bitch. Where else can you go? This is it here. It ain't nowhere else to go. So no matter what kind of trouble I did pick up along the way, I couldn't go no higher than I already was. And that was the mentality though I was operating under. So like I said, I was in there cutting up. I didn't care about nothing the people was talking about, okay, or trying to enforce. I was in there in my own world. But like I said, I've always been this way. But anyway, and I remember sitting on that bed, and I will never forget it. I will never forget. I will never forget it. And see, this is a beautiful thing though about when you come into alignment, right? And you fully live within yourself. Because like I'm saying, it's like something comes up and you just like, it's like you just feel spirit, God's arms just hold you and console you and just take you through, and you just go deeper and deeper and deeper. You're like a river that never stops flowing. And even if you had a moment that you felt a pain or it, ooh, immediately that spirit come in and just look, ooh, just love you on through it here. I'm telling you. Oh, I love this. But listen, sorry, I had a moment. Um, Dang, I got too excited on that. What the heck was I saying? Mm, mm. And so I remember sitting on that bed, and I'm laying there. I'm laying down. Like I said, I'm in lockdown. And I'm laying down, and I'll tell you why I was in lockdown right quick, for pills, trying to smuggle pills and take people's prescriptions and stuff like this. Still in jail committing crimes. This is what I'm talking about here. But anyway, so I'm in lockdown, and I'm laying on this bed here, and now I'm in a moment of presence, right? Because I've not been present. That's what happens a lot of time in the body. We operate out of that subconscious. You don't want to be present, because to be present is to be conscious. To be conscious is to be aware, and you have to feel whatever you're going through when you in that space. And most people don't want to do that. It's not easy to do. And so that's where self-medicating and addiction and all these things come in, right? But that's another day. So I'm laying on that bed and I said, God, now you know I don't have anything. And what I do have, I'm going to need to see it here and to know that it is okay so I can commit to this here, cuz I was okay with being in prison. I was okay with that. I mean, I already knew the consequences of it. I lived it. It was I had a first front row seat to it. So I was okay with having to do the time. But the only way that I could do that time was for my kids to be okay. They had to be okay. The people just and you just let me keep them, right? Like I got to make sure they're good. And so and my grandma, again, my grandma, my sister, oh God. And I laid there and I prayed. It was an inward prayer. I said, God, I need to see. I need to see. I have to. Because I don't even know what tomorrow looks like here. And I felt Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit sit right there on that bed. It's not the first time I've had spirits sit on next to me or work around me. You got to remember also, I've been in the medical field for 20 years. I've dealt with hospice, right, and transitioning and all these things here. I absolutely am very aware of spirit. I know spirit and what it feels like. So that was not the first time in my life that I experienced it, but it was one of the very first times that I experienced it. And didn't really I was gonna say it's not that I didn't think much of it, but I guess that it just felt right, like I didn't I guess I didn't overthink it or anything. Like I just knew what it was. And I'll never forget. That was it. I felt that presence. I got that download. They coming. They'll be here. And it was done. Nothing after that. That next day, they called my name. Guess what? It was a visit from my kids. I had not seen them that whole time I'd been there. And after that night, that the spirits I had here, even after cutting up and in there acting up, spirits still showed up, never left, right? Keep this in mind because I want you to at some point reflect back over your life here. And so the next day, it was my kids and my grandma. My kids and my grandma. Now, it was a horrible visit. I will say that because my kids, oh my God, I will never forget their reaction. Mind you, my daughter was only 3, but Monet she's always been always ahead of her time. She did everything fast. She sat up at 3 months. She was walking like at 7, and she did everything quick. She's always been that way. And I'll never forget, they came and I came out, and then I was in shackles because I was in lockdown. I didn't want my kids to have to see me like that. And I'm pregnant. So I was pregnant. I had the shackles. And when you in the lockdown, they put the shackle around your arm and then they put the one around your feet too. Why they do all that? Even though you in the jail behind this. Anyway, so I got all this jewelry on and sitting on top of this big old stomach here. I mean, what an example, right? Like, what a fucking memory for your child, right? And so, just, I mean, ignorant here. Because that's what that looks like to me. Now, because that's ignorant. Ignorant. Because I knew better. Everything that I was dealing with, from them shackles around them legs, them arms, that baby and that belly being in that prison system, I knew better than all of it. But that's what I chose. That was the way that I had chose to go. It's 12:21. I'll tell y'all about that later. But anyway, okay. And so, oh, my grandma, she was so old, y'all. Mm, mm. She was so old, y'all. I remember her sitting there in that seat like this here. And my daughter is screaming and crying. She's hitting the glass. Mom, you're in jail. You lied to us. I told them. So when I had, see, so this is the other thing. I had to leave. I had to go turn myself in. I was on the run. They're looking for me. They had this reward out for me. So I had to go turn myself in. And so when I left my kids, the day I left my kids, I left them with my friend. Like I said, I took them to the park. We went to the park, and we had snacks and stuff like that. I had all the the goodies and stuff, trying to keep them. And I told them that I was going to school, child. I believe that's what I thought. I had to go to school here. And so well, I did. Look, I got the proof. I did. It was just a long school, right? But and so I had talked to them maybe twice. I'm gonna say 3 times, just to stretch it and give grace. But that was when I had first went, like in the first week or so of me going. And after that, like I said, all communication ceased. I didn't have no way to get in contact with them and stuff like that. And then so my daughter, she's like, Mom, and she's crying. My son is hysterical. My son was a titty baby, but what little boy isn't, right? So he just came all the way unglued. And not only that, they feeding off each other's energy. My grandma is sitting there looking incapacitated, incapable. I mean, just in the need of and I'm just like, oh man. And my daughter is like, Mom, you lied to me. You told me you were at school. You're in jail. Da 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 da. And I mean, she's only 3, mind you, but like I said, she was a special one. And so she's saying all the things. And so I had to deal with their emotion, but on the inside, I mean, I needed that here so I can lock in and get this little time here done. That little thing locked me in to be able at that moment to endure what I needed to endure, because I didn't know the path before me. I was not ready for it, but I absolutely handled it. And so like I said, my kids went from place to place, from home to home, and all these things of that nature. Oh God, I'm sorry. See, I'm not even looking at these. Let me see what y'all saying. Just stop by through. Resonate. Queen, you look so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Hello from Mississippi. Hey, Mississippi. I feel almost telling my dad on you. You're a thug. Yeah, I used to be thugging. I used to be thugging. It's a wacky tarot card reading channel. Is this a wacky tarot card reading channel? And so, like I was saying, that visit locked me in. Me seeing them was allowed me to go ahead and do my time. And so that time that I was in before I got sent to prison, there was no visitations, like I said. And then I had my daughter. I ended up, they were with a friend of mine. This is like the 4th time they've probably been moved at this point, and they were with a friend of mine. And I remember being in the hospital after just having the baby, and my oldest 2 ran by the room. They were coming to visit, and they were like, I love you, Mom. And I'm like, oh my God, I love y'all. And I couldn't talk to them and touch them and hold them up. And like I said, they let me keep my baby, like, I think that day. And then the doctor even approved for me to stay an extra day or whatever, so I could be with the baby, but they said the baby had to go home. So this is the very first visit I got from them in prison. And like I said, the lady that brought them to see me, I did not know her. I had never met her in my life. But long story short, she was a friend of the friend that I had left them with, and somehow or another, she was babysitting my baby, and the other 2 situation ended up not working out. And so she ended up not only taking the baby, but she took all 3 of them. And so that was the first time my kids were finally together, and they were able to stay together after that. So this is my very first visit of them coming to see me in prison. Look at this. I was so happy that day. That was like the most beautiful day. And I remember, though, our relationship, me and my little one, it was so strained because she didn't know me, you know, but my other 2, they was proud. That looked happy to see mama. So we had good visits, and then, you know, they would come. She would bring them pretty consistently. So this is another one. But look how young. Look how young I was. I was 21 years old when I got that prison time. Look at that. Just a baby. But I learned some stuff. And then these are pictures of my kids, like, while I was in prison. So this is another. Ooh, child. I don't know who I thought I was on this picture. I'm gonna tell you one thing about me. Even though I was in prison, I tried to stay cute, child. You couldn't tell me nothing. I tried to, as much as I possibly could, to stay in fashion, okay? Look. Look at that. Look at my babies. Oh my God. Look at all that hair. Look at all that hair. Oh my God. Man, I was still a proud mama. And then, like I said, I was sending all my little money home from my little 11 cents an hour that I made home to them or whatever. I remember calling home, and, you know, my daughter telling me she was bringing food home from school for my son and stuff like that, to feed my son. I mean, you know, that's the thing. And that's the other thing, you know, you have to understand your actions, your actions, your behaviors have consequences, not only for you, but everybody connected to you. And so, you know, oof. So I guess I probably won't be able to take this one out, but this is my little graduation day, child. Look, clips in the hair, I'm telling you. Had my nails on. I forget the day. I did my nails too that day. Y'all can't see them tips, child. I had them tips. Oh my God. So funny. Yeah. So I'll show y'all her picture because I know she won't care. But this is her, the lady that ended up taking care of my kids until I came home from prison. Naya, that's the first time I seen my babies. They were so happy, man. That was the best one of the best days of my life. But yeah, girl, so you're not supposed to look like what you go through. But I tell you what, that one time there, that was enough for me. I never went back or nothing. You hear me? That was enough for me, babe. One time was enough. I don't see how no. People go and get out. Well, my mom did that. My mom was very institutionalized. My mom could not stay out of prison. My mom went to prison, got out, went to prison, got out, went to prison, got out. Oh my God. And then she would come home and turn her room into a damn cell. So you got everything in the room. The microwave, the stove, the refrigerator. I said the stove, the microwave, the refrigerator, so yeah. This thing, and that's a supportive note. Kind of work. Who is this? How to spell Mark? Let me go on right quick because I'm about to get off. It's not enough to make you understand that, God. I don't know what that means. Are you married? No, I'm not married. You do it for yourself. Do you? Ooh, I missed this. Hold on. Let me try. I'm trying to go back and see what was said. I'm sorry. Hold on. Prison sentence. Yeah, so my prison, like I said, my prison sentence was 10 years. What is your ultimate S-tier midnight snack? You know, I used to be the queen of midnight snacks. I mean, I used to wake up out of my sleep to go get a snack. It used to be so bad that the bed hated to see me coming because crumbs were the least of your worries in the morning in the bed. I mean, I had stuff everywhere. I'm not really a late night snacker anymore. I used to be though, big time. I can't really say. I'm always down for a good snack though. So if you know something, let me know. But I don't know that I'm really a late night snacker anymore. The truth is, I see that in your energy. It explains a lot that you are passing no responsibility in the person who cares about another human's. Really? Yeah. I've always been this way. I can't help it. I can't help it, but that's why you got to put boundaries and limitations into place. Thank you. Who is this? Oh, thank you, baby. So no stay. Well, listen, I will. Do y'all have any more questions or anything? I could do that for a minute, and then I got to go. Look, I got to get back within myself. This is a lot of outside for me. But if anybody has anything or something you want to talk about or a question or something, we can do that. Oh, so let me say this, because I am finna go. So let me say this. I mentioned it yesterday, but I have started my one-on-one coaching sessions. I have different programs. I have different tiers. So if you are interested in a one-on-one with me, you can go over onto my post here on my YouTube page, and I have posted the information to reach me. My website, I will have it up here in the next few days, so you can absolutely go on the website and book. But you can also book a session with me through DMs or messaging. You can reach me on my Instagram, which is at BeLegendaryMama _44, I believe. That's it. And then you can reach me on my YouTube channel at BeLegendaryMama. I also just started subscriptions on my Facebook channel. So on that channel will be videos and content and more personal, intimate time. So if you're interested in that, you can go on to my YouTube and get into that. And let me see. I'm trying to see my Instagram because y'all know I'm not a social media person. I post, do what I have to do, and I go about my business. So my Instagram is actually BeLegendaryMama44. Okay. So like I said, you can also reach me there. And seeing you in person, real. And so, yeah, so all my information, like I said, will be there. I'll have the website up and going here in the next few days. And so you'll be able to go on and book a private session or a, like I said, I have different tiers. The longest tier that I am going to be offering is going to be a 8-week program. The descriptions and what they entail, you can also, you will be able to go into more depth on the website. Okay. I think I think that's all I got. I think that's all I got for today. I've been up, so I've been waking up at the most amazing hours in the middle of the night. But you know, that's spirit time. That's when you get those downloads. And then for the past week or so, I've already told you I've been going through heavy downloads. And I actually did I went live about it yesterday and some of the things to expect. So go on there and check that out if you missed the live from yesterday. Remember, moving forward, if you have something that you want to touch on, a specific topic, feel always free to drop it in my inbox and let me know. And I will absolutely do what I can to create content around it for you. I love you guys. I thank you all for hanging out today. Enjoy the rest of your day. But what do I want you to absolutely make sure that you do for the rest of your day? Bye-bye.